Hello, this is John from Coordination. Today I wanted to talk to you about whether or not we should be playing college sports during this COVID-19 pandemic. It seems to be a popular topic, and now that football season's over, maybe I should talk about it a little bit. Plus, it's an absolutely beautiful day out here on Lake Auburn, on the ice. 25 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. God, it's gorgeous. It's almost hot. I feel like I should just take my clothes off, but nobody wants to see that. Anyway, should we be playing college sports? Should we have played football? I think we're months and months into this. We're a year into the first case being found, and we still have this massive disconnect or disparity between these people who still think it's a hoax, and then there's those people that think we should shut everything down and everybody should wear masks and not come within 83 yards of each other, and the whole country should shut down, and oh my God. Yeah, the reality is obviously somewhere in between. It almost always is with extreme views. There's, the middle ground. Should we have played college sports? I think that it really depends on how the individual teams handled it. I don't think we saw a massive amount of detrimental issues because we played football. I don't think anybody really traced an outbreak that was massive to any kind of sporting event. And you saw that different teams and different conferences handled it way different. The Big Ten, as we know, shut down football, and then they started to back up again, conference only, with very strict protocols. Were they right? Erring on the side of caution, yeah, they were kind of right. And then you saw the other extreme, the SEC, and these two are like, good versus evil. Which, I'm sure with you, when I say that, you're thinking, well, my side's good, and if I'm an SEC guy anyway. I think the other extreme case is Florida, the school. Dan Mullen just didn't seem to give two fucking shits about whether or not this stuff would kill people, or if he thought it was a hoax, or pretty much about anything. Which I think that if you're an athlete and your school didn't particularly give a shit about the protocols or you being in potential harm of playing football and catching COVID-19, and if there might be long-term side effects, because we still don't know a lot about this virus, but we know that there are potential long-term side effects such as myocarditis, which is a heart inflammation. And if you're 18 years old and you get something that is a long-term effect that keeps you from being an athlete, and you're an athlete, that's kind of really a big fucking issue. But I think if you go back and you look at, for example, if you were an athlete at a school that didn't particularly give a shit, this should be kind of a big red flag. Because if they don't give a shit about you with COVID-19, it's probably going to be that they don't give a shit about you having mental health issues, or breaking your knees to shreds, or having a brain injury, or things like that. So we saw that disparity. Overall, I personally am thankful that they had college football season. It was a welcome distraction. It gave our website some content we wouldn't have otherwise had. So yeah, those are very selfish reasons. Football itself was hard to watch at times. And I'll be honest and blunt, it wasn't particularly that I was worried about the athletes because of COVID. I think that every athlete knows that when they step on the field, there is an inherent risk that they are taking, being, if you're a lineman, a 300-pound guy smashing yourself every play into another 300-pound guy. There's a risk there. In fact, a year ago about this time, loosely in winter, I was preparing to do a polar plunge. A polar plunge is when they cut a hole in the ice and people jump into the water, and they raise money for charity, and it sounds completely batshit insane, and it kind of is. And most of you may not know this, or you do know this, but in 2015, right before football season, I had a massive heart attack and I died for 20 minutes. And I have a brain injury. And my colleagues wanted me to go jump in the ice with them, jump in this, frozen lake. And I wanted to see what my cardiologist had to say. So he used that phrase when he responded to me, inherent risk in life. And he said that while there was some evidence that it may not be the best, it's no different than, for example, getting into a minor car accident or being frightened or suddenly surprised or, any other thing that might happen. Wrecking my mountain bike. Certainly there's accident injuries that can happen, but we're talking about the heart rate here. And then he had to close with, you being a Nebraska fan, I'm sure you've put up with the ups and downs of Nebraska football since Frank Solich was the coach. And it was a really nice shot. And that anybody that put up with that kind of crap could certainly withstand jumping in a hole in a frozen lake. He's a Wisconsin lover. He's a Wisconsin alum. I love him dearly. He knows when to get his shots in. But let's go back to that inherent risk in life. When you're an 18-year-old kid, you don't really think a lot about that because you're invincible. When you're 54 and you're a parent, you think way more about that, I think, especially when it comes to your kids. I have 3 kids. They're all adults now. But as they grew up, I had to make decisions for them. Are they going to participate in sports? My oldest son played football. There wasn't a moment's hesitation when he said, I want to try to play tackle football, that I thought, oh my God, he could get injured. I thought, good, go see it and see if you like it and try it. Now, I'm not a big guy. I don't have any athleticism. I didn't certainly pass any on to my kids. We're a soccer family. I never thought about him getting a brain injury from playing football. I never really thought about him getting injured. I thought about the fact that, it's go be part of a team. Learn how to win and learn how to lose. And learn how to have teammates and learn how that all works. It's good for socialization. It's good for your mental health. Is there a risk? Yes. There's a risk in everything. What really terrified me when I raised my kids is putting them behind the wheel of a car. Because that is a way riskier proposition than playing football. And it's a way riskier proposition for them than having long-term side effects from COVID-19. But we accept those risks because they're commonplace. Everybody has to learn how to drive a car, especially in the Midwest. We don't think about those risks, but they're still there. And they're there in every part of our life, in everyday life. So why do we get so freaked about COVID-19, a disease or a virus that hasn't killed a percentage, the survival rate's like 99% overall? Well, I think we get freaked out about it because there's a lot of unknowns. And I think we've also seen, and has been proven out in a way, that this really wasn't, playing sports in many ways wasn't about athletes' safety. It was about liability and schools worrying about optics. Because you'll notice that the schools, a lot of them sent their students home, but they kept their athletes playing football so they could make money. And we're going to cover that subject over and over again on this channel, in this podcast, whatever you want to call it. So basically, should we be playing college sports? I think if you got the right protocols in place and you're following them, yes. The University of Michigan has been shut down with all this college athletics because there's been a new variant of this virus found. Did they do the right thing? The state shut them down? I hate to say this, but yes, they probably did because they don't know what its effects are. On the other hand, you can think that that's overreaching, and I'm not sure you're wrong about that. Again, because it goes back to the inherent risks of life. By the way, I ended up not jumping in the lake because I get severe headaches sometimes from my brain injury, and that was a week of really bad headaches, and I didn't want to make them any worse because sometimes they can be so bad they literally incapacitate me, and I have to lay in a dark room for like a day at a time, and it really sucks. It's all very painful, and anyway. We're playing basketball now. We're playing volleyball. We're going to be playing baseball. I'll cover that subject later. Uh, I think that it's great we're playing these sports. Is it about money? Yeah, pretty much about money, especially for basketball and football. Is that bad? You know, if you're one of those people that hates the word exploitation, yeah, I guess it's bad. On the other hand, well, we're going to go down that rabbit hole, and I'd rather try to stay focused on this video. I'm glad we're playing college sports. I'm going to continue to watch them. And because they're a huge distraction for me, and I don't have to think about the fact that all I do is sit at home and I don't go anywhere, and it really fucking sucks. And it sucks for some crusty old man. It's gotta suck for people that want to be way more social than me, like young people. Anyway, the question was, should we be playing college sports? Yeah, we should, because we need it. We need to handle the protocols well. If you're at a school that isn't handling the protocols properly and you feel like they don't give a shit about your well-being, you should get the fuck out of there and go to some place that does. Maybe that's why we're seeing so many people in the transfer portal. All right, that's enough for now. I needed to get out today. This is the only socialization I do. Me, that camera, God. Thanks for listening. Go Big Red.